Hi, welcome to Performance with Ease and Flow. This is the second episode of Performance with Ease and Flow. I started broadcasting these on LinkedIn because I felt that that was what would have helped, one of the things that would have helped me when I was going through my own burnout back in 2004, and I decided that I want to give something to my connections on LinkedIn. So this is the second episode where I go live every Wednesday and Thursday and share tips for keeping your performance high, managing stress, and making room for enjoying your life. Because that's one of the things that can be really painful when you're too busy that you don't have time for the things that you really love doing. So last week I talked about how to progress when stress is stealing your energy, your clarity, and your focus. And I shared my first tip in relation to that, and that is letting go. And that's certainly a thing that is easier said than done. I gave a bit of tips for that last week. You can go back and watch it, and if you need more tips for that, also reach out to me. I have some more, other free resources in relation to that as well. So today I'll be sharing the second tip, and the reason why I decided to do this on a Sunday is because it's a good day for what I'll be sharing today. The second tip is, well, last week I talked about letting go. The two things that can get in your way of that is your mind not allowing you to let go. And the other thing is lack of structure, in the sense that you haven't made a decision to actually when to complete this, or when to look at this and when not to look at the things that are going on in your mind that are stealing your focus in the moment when you're with your kids or with your family or friends, or when you just cannot let it go. Making a decision that I'm looking at it this time is something that can help. It's not, as I said before, around letting go, it's not that easy, but it's possible, and remember that it's possible. So today I'll be talking about ways to plan your week, make decisions around what you want to complete and what might not be so important for you this week to complete. Because when you're stressed and when you're exhausted, when you lack focus, you also have that feeling of not achieving the things that you want to achieve on your throughout your days and throughout your weeks, and that's really frustrating, and that in itself can drain you further, and also cause a lot of mind clutter, a lot of thoughts that you don't need to carry around, because they'll be draining you as well. Because a lot of the stress is not really coming from what we do, a lot of stress is coming from what is going on in our mind, whether we are conscious of it or not. You can be thinking so much about your worries that it completely drains your energy, and you have not accomplished anything in a day, but you've been thinking so much about it. So today is a bit more about action than last time. Last time it was more about the idea of letting go. I shared one exercise in relation to that, and I'll also be showing one today. So today will more be about figuring out what is important to take action on. And my advice for that is to set aside half an hour, maybe even an hour, in your schedule. So today is Sunday, so I'll normally be doing this on Sundays because I work on Sundays. Sunday is a really good day for me to help my clients because they have time off, so I can offer sessions on Sundays. And it might not be the best day for you, but maybe Sunday is the day where you worry about your week anyway. Optimally, you would let it go, but sometimes just setting aside some time to plan what do you want to achieve this week, what is less important to achieve this week, and also incorporate a little bit into your plan what would lift my energy level, what lifts my joy, what makes me calm, what do I enjoy doing, things that are not so stressful. That's also something that lifts the energy, the clarity, the focus. So you're better at being productive in the moments where you need to be productive. The day I would suggest doing this would be Fridays. Because when you reach the end of your week, you can like have a small status meeting with yourself for half an hour where you look at, okay, what did I actually accomplish this week? And really praise yourself for the things that you've done this week, even though it seems like small things. Remind yourself, okay, but this was actually something that I've been a bit uncertain about how to go about, or even nervous about approaching certain people about some challenges, or small things, and praise that, because that's what your brain needs. It needs to know that you're moving forward, that you're doing things. And sometimes when we are really ambitious, we kind of forget the things that we actually have done, and we focus on all the things we need to do. But that praise will help you boost yourself, give you more energy, and give you more a sense of achievement. And the other reason why Friday is good for this is that if you, before you leave work on Fridays, decide what are the important things that I'll be looking at next week, then you don't have to think about it over the weekend. Alright, so that was a bit of an introduction. Let's get into how I would go about doing this. So, and the first thing I do when I start a working session that is a bit complex is that I calm my mind. Sometimes you can just sit, there's some things you can do and you just do it, you don't have to calm yourself because it's not difficult for you and it's not stressful for you. But it's something where going through your different tasks can be quite stressful, because you start thinking about all the challenges within the different projects or tasks that you have to complete at some point. So the first thing I do is to calm my mind. And you can do that while you're sitting at the desk, and you can do it discreetly so people around you don't notice. You can also take a walk around, because getting in touch with your body also takes a bit out of your brain, calms you a bit because of that. But you can also just sit at your desk. Let's just try this one together. A really simple exercise. I've shared before that I like breathing exercises for calming the mind. I think I've been doing meditations since 2004. So for 18 years, I just realized the other day. But my favorite will always be breathing exercises. My personal favorite, not necessarily what my clients would do, because I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all. But I personally find breathing exercises really efficient, and the reason for that is that what happens when we're stressed is we breathe faster. We might not notice it, our heart beats faster. There's lots of different responses in the body. So when you are conscious around your breath, you also say, take a deep breath if you want to calm somebody. So it's ingrained into our culture. So when we consciously slower our breath, you also slower your mind. It affects your heart rate, because the slower breath tells your nervous system that things are okay. So everything calms down. That brings clarity, that brings focus. And when we do this a lot, it gives us more energy, because then we're less in the worried state of mind, and we're more in a calm state of mind which is not stealing our resources. Alright, so let's just try this one for a second. Feet on the floor. If you're sitting, hands on your thighs. And you can close your eyes. You can also keep them open. So from here you can do an inhalation, counting to 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale for 6, because the exhale calms us. And hold your breath for 2 counts. So I'll just guide you through a few rounds to get you set up for more clarity. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. So you can do several rounds of these. Just close your eyes now. Let the mind rest. Allow the body to rest. Just sit in a second like this. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open. So as I said, you don't have to close your eyes for this one. You don't have to tell anybody that you're doing this, but you could do this anywhere. So whenever you feel that there's something stressful going on in you, inside of you, or that you feel that your surroundings are stressful for you, step aside or just stay there and do this breathing without anybody around you knowing that you're trying to calm yourself. And the reason why I share this in relation to planning your week is I want you to plan your week from a very clear point of mind. So, a very clear mind, like a calm state. And when we sit in meditation for a second, so when you've done this breathing exercise, just sit for a second. Optimally, you will close your eyes. And the most important things that you need to do something about will typically come to you, because that's the predominant worries that you have. And sometimes you don't know what to do about these things. But often when you give it a bit of time, you'll be able to find one small step that you can take that takes you in the right direction. People you can talk to, colleagues who might have some knowledge that you don't have around how to solve a problem. A leader you can go to, maybe you need to escalate it because it's been hanging around for too long. Maybe you just need to discuss some challenges with someone else, or maybe it's a small initiative, an email, a short meeting, or something like that that you need to take, to create, to move forward. So when you've been calming yourself, sit down. I like to do pen to paper. It gives me more clarity than the computer mostly. But you can also do it on a computer. Have a blank document. Brainstorming. What are the things that are most important for me to do something about right now? And I understand the list could be really long, but there must be something that is more important than other things. That is more urgent or more important. And we tend to neglect the things that are not urgent but are really important. And those are typically also the things that are disturbing our peaceful mind and sometimes also sleep. Alright, so I plan to do this one on a Sunday because I want to make space for a bit more than the 15 minutes I normally do as a power break on Wednesday, because I know this is in the middle of your working day. So encouraging you to take out these 15 minutes, go for a walk, or just listen in for inspiration while you take a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, how you would like to have a break. Alright, so when you have that bit of clarity, look at your work schedule. When you know the few tasks that you want to do something about, and it's really important for me to stress that, make it realistic. Don't make another plan that you just be disappointed in yourself of not achieving on the Friday, because the Friday, when you made a plan for the week, Friday is for celebrating the things that you accomplished. Also, if you didn't accomplish everything that you planned, just having a small, short reflective moment and praising yourself and allowing yourself to step into the weekend and letting go when you step into the weekend. Alright, so my advice, maybe some of you are familiar with the Pomodoro technique, where you set a timer for, advice are different, but my advice would be 45 minutes. This is the small task I want to complete in these 45 minutes. And then I have a 15 minutes break. And you're not skipping that break, because that's a part of recovering from being a bit too stressed, is ensuring that you incorporate breaks. Alright, so 45 minutes, and you can even do this when you're meetings with your colleagues. I remember how packed my calendar was when I was in corporate life, and how I would appreciate if somebody made a 45 minutes meeting, because that made room for a 15 minutes break before the next meeting would start, typically at the hour. You can start with the 15 minutes break, so you have people entering maybe from a bit more calm state, because they didn't have to run from one meeting to another, or go from one meeting to another on the computer. And what I typically use those 45 minutes for is you can go for a walk around the office. Maybe you also need to visit the toilet once in a while. That's important for our well-being. But you can also use them for the techniques that I just shared with you. So ensuring that when you step into something new, you're clear, you're calm. It makes a hell of a difference in terms of productivity in the things that you do. So, just to sum up my tip, which is quite simple: set aside time for planning your week in your calendar. If you're not doing it today, set aside time on one day for planning your week. Calm your mind before actually doing the planning. Make a list of the things that you would be relieved of having to tick off on Friday, and making sure that list of things is realistic. Really, rather make a small step moving forward, and maybe don't do a bit more than that, but just decide the small first step that would make a difference. And it can be difficult to identify, but take a bit of time, because this is important for how you feel on Friday, because we tend to just do the things we can do with more ease, and maybe also the things that gives us a sense of accomplishment, but they're not the things that are really important when we're at the end of the week. Alright, and then put these things into your calendar. Set aside 45 minutes, have a break, and use these breaks for something that charges you. And I really advise using breathing exercises, and also have that's 20 minutes exercise that you can use for clarity on a specific topic, and you can listen to it while sitting in the office, or you can listen to it at home, even before your planning session. So just send me a personal message if you want my free clarity exercise. It's a meditative, it's a mental clarity exercise, so it's a meditative exercise, but not in the sense that you're sitting in a meditative state for the sake of it, but you're sitting in the meditative state for the sake of solving something that is bothering you, something that is a bit challenging for you. Alright, that was it for me today. This was Performance with Ease and Flow. I'm live every 2 times a week. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, no, it's Wednesdays and Sundays, and that's 11 a.m. Central European Time. That's 10 a.m. UK time. It's 9 a.m. in Australia, and it's in the night time in the States, but it is available here on LinkedIn, if you go into my profile and click posts, you'll be able to find it. And also you can also go into my LinkedIn profile, so click my name and then click the bell. I believe it's in the left, just below my cover photo. There's in the lower right hand side, there's a bell you can click so you get notified when I am live, and if you're not on LinkedIn at that time, you'll get a notification when you're on LinkedIn again that I have watched live, and you can go in and watch the replay. So, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions to the things that I talked about today, or if you have some topics that you want me to say more about. I would love to hear what it is that you need right now, so I can, because this is why I do this, and this is to make your life less stressful and more fun. All right, next Wednesday, on Wednesday, I will be talking about how to identify the things that uplift you. I talked about this a little bit today, that you also want to incorporate things into your calendar that lifts you, things that brings you joy, things that re-energize you, calms your nervous system, and that can be difficult to identify. Sometimes what we identify is that, oh, then I need to do yoga 1 hour every day, or go to these sessions a couple of times this week, and maybe that's more than you need to do. Maybe it just adds to your overwhelm. If you feel that you need to do these things and you don't really have the resources for it right now, because that was how I felt when I was going through my burnout. I just needed some small things to do. So that's why I always emphasize small things, focus on small things, because you can so easily overwhelm yourself. And in my case, that was what got me in that place, in the first place, that I had so much drive that it drove me to exhaustion. So I also had so much drive in terms of what to do about the situation, that it drove me to exhaustion. All right, so tune in on Wednesday, same time. Until then, take care.